Good evening and welcome to the Newshour Agenda. I'm Madhavdas G. Viewers, Pakistan's preparing to host in-person talks between US and Iran starting this Friday. But will these talks even happen? As a fragile ceasefire between the two sides shows signs of strain following Israeli strikes in Lebanon and renewed military exchanges across the Gulf, questions are now being raised about the optics of its role. A ceasefire on paper that the entire world celebrated was actually a conditional pause that couldn't last even 24 hours. Multiple fronts still remain active amidst a bundle of unresolved disputes across Lebanon, Hormuz, and the entire nuclear issue. After Donald Trump declared a 2-week ceasefire, Israel pounded Lebanon with unprecedented force, leaving over 250 dead and over 800 injured. Viewers, this is the exact situation that Pakistan tried to avoid via its mediation, but it appears to have failed quite miserably. Israel claims that this ceasefire never included Lebanon, and Israel will strike Lebanon whenever necessary. In retaliation, Lebanon has also been striking targets within Israel, and the US also claimed that it was only Iran that misunderstood the ceasefire agreement. Why has this misunderstanding happened in the first place? It was Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif who was amongst the first to announce a ceasefire with pride. It was the same Pakistan Prime Minister, however, who also claimed that Lebanon was part of this truce deal, which US and Israel have now categorically denied. Contrast this with how India has responded to this entire situation. While India didn't get directly involved in the deliberations, India managed to secure its needs rather smoothly by deft diplomacy, and has had at least 9 of our ships pass through the Hormuz Strait. And this brings me to the big question that we're debating tonight. Has Pakistan miserably failed in its efforts to mediate in the Middle East war? And what could happen next, as neither side is showing any definitive indication of seizing the conflict?
You're watching the News Hour at 10.
For more on this, let's go right across to our guest. Joining us is Major General K.K. Sinha, defense expert. With us is Tushar Gupta, political analyst. Ambassador Jeffrey Gunter is a former diplomat of the United States. With us from Pakistan is Major Nadeem. He's a Pakistan defense analyst. We have Hamid Khan, Pakistan journalist, joining us as well. Hamid Khan, let me begin with the announcement yesterday. Now, the entire social media, at least as far as Pakistan, was aflutter with Pakistan having negotiated a ceasefire. A lot of credit being given to Mr. Shehbaz Sharif and, of course, to your army chief, so on and so forth. But the question is, the ceasefire didn't even last 24 hours. What went so horribly wrong? The one thing that the Pakistan had done and would have been perhaps deserving of credit had it been negotiated would have been to ensure peace in the region. But even that could not be achieved. Why?
To be very honest, the whole world is giving the credit to Pakistan, and the whole world is hoping all the hopes from Pakistan, which Pakistan have achieved. And you can see that J.D. Vance is on his way to Islamabad along with Steve Witkoff. And on the other hand, Iran's foreign minister and speaker is coming as well. So we will see definitely the Pakistan's great effort will be appreciated. And there is a high hope that there will be a peace agreement for continuity and the permanent ceasefire. Yes, there is, I would say, a great, very sad violence by Netanyahu by attacking on Lebanon. But as I will say, the greatness shown by Iran and the Pakistan's negotiations term, that Pakistan managed
Mr.
to
Hamid Khan, unfortunately,
keep it continue.
The same J.D. Vance who you are mentioning has said that Lebanon is not part of the deal. Shehbaz Sharif had mentioned in his social media post that Lebanon is part of the deal. Both J.D. Vance as well as Caroline Leavitt, who's the White House press secretary, both have said it's not part of the deal. So was it lost in translation? What happened?
That's why I'm saying that the both sides, Iran have hold their horses and they carry on the ceasefire, and that's what we're going to decide tomorrow once let the table talk begin. I mean, why you are happy that it's failure? No, it is the biggest success.
Nobody's happy about any failure. But when Pakistan starts chest thumping that they've done something very great, then obviously there will be questions if the ceasefire does not even last 24 hours.
I will tell you, I expect a greatness for once in 78 years from Indian officials that to show the courtesy to appreciate that Pakistan has done a great job by having all this, and Pakistan's role in the whole scenario is appreciated, and Pakistan has avoided
if you do good work, of course there will be praise. But if you mess up something, then people will ask you questions. That is something you have to be used to. But let me bring in Tushar. Tushar, does this man have any...
one last thing, let
One
me
second,
say.
Mr. Khan, you've spoken. Now let other panelists speak as well. Tushar, the question is this, that had they resolved this, certainly, who would not welcome? End of the day, we are all paying extra for our oil prices. All our economies are going to be affected. The entire region is impacted because there are so many citizens of the countries working in the Middle East as well. But the point is, how could this have been botched up so quickly is a question that many are asking. Is that not a reasonable question?
Good evening, Madhav. It's an absolutely reasonable question. It appears that when Pakistan was trying to bring everyone on the mediating table, they were giving different agreement plans to all the stakeholders, because suddenly within hours you had the Iranians claiming that we do not find this agreement plausible, the Americans claiming that they do not find several facts in the agreement plausible, and the Israelis have already been violating the ceasefire along with other powers in the Middle East. So I don't know what kind of ceasefire is this, where only Pakistan is claiming that peace has prevailed upon us. The entire West Asia is still engulfed in violence. Number two, how on earth can anyone believe that the likes of Iran, Israel, America, UAE, Qatar, and the likes will look at Pakistan as the guarantor of security in West Asia? Let's be very real about the economic prowess and strength of Pakistan. They are in no position to actually usher in a ceasefire. At best, they can get everyone to the negotiating table, be there, probably, take part in some discussion. But at the end of the day, the decision is between Iran, America, and Israel. Pakistan has absolutely no stake in this. Point number three, we saw how the ceasefire was violated. They say all the concerns have been addressed. The Iranians are saying we want $1 per barrel of oil for every vessel that passes through the Hormuz. That's almost $8 billion, or half of Pakistan's liquid foreign exchange. How are you even telling me that Pakistan has resolved this issue when the entire West Asian countries are now suddenly looking at Iran as the next, the owner of the Hormuz? And finally, in Iran, there are two factions, one which is pro-Pahlavi and one which is pro-Khamenei. Right now, both these factions are together in abusing Pakistan on social media because they see any interference by Pakistan against their interests and against the idea of Iran being the supreme power. Let's be very clear, Pakistan here is not the chef that is cooking up this wonderful dinner. It's merely a delivery partner that is delivering messages from one party to the other, and even that they're not doing properly.
Okay, Major Nadeem, I think there is some reason, some amount of... one second, please. Mr. Khan, you have spoken. There are at least 4 other panelists. Please be a little patient. We will come to you. There's a panelist from the US, there's another panelist from Pakistan, and yet another panelist from India. Please show them some courtesy. Okay, let me bring in Major Nadeem. Now, Major Nadeem, the question that is being asked is this. Shahbaz Sharif puts out a tweet, and in that tweet, the original draft of that has one line which says that this is a draft of the Pakistan PM's message, which leads to a lot of speculation. I don't want to get into the specifics. That was this dictation coming in from the other country. Was it China? Was it US? I don't know. But certainly this was what was being spoken about. Why would you put out such a tweet? And therefore, a serious question coming in about whether Pakistan is nothing more than a messenger. You may like to think that you are a negotiator, but that's the perception internationally.
See, you people are focusing on the proofreading instead of focusing on the spirit, the peace and the war that we have averted, the Third World War, the devastation that may be caused on Iran by the aggressor America, the bully America, USA, and we have averted that. And we have brought down the oil prices as well, and you are also benefiting it. But the disappointment is, the pinching thing to you is that you people always underestimate Pakistan. Now you are saying Pakistan is a pigeon, Pakistan is doing a post office, Pakistan is just trying to coordinate, he's a coordinator. Pakistan is hosting both the delegations of both the countries are coming to Pakistan. Pakistan is acting as a mediator. First of all, you are saying, okay, truce is not lasting, the truce is still intact. Okay? Let them sit on the table.
800 people injured, 250 killed in Lebanon. What kind of truce or ceasefire is this? Please tell me.
You are right. You are right. But the initial demands of both the sides were from Iran's side that there should be a ceasefire. America got agreed that we will have a ceasefire. And America condition was to open the Hormuz, right? And Iran has opened the Hormuz, right? These were the issues. Once they will sit on the table, definitely both the parties now at maximal position. They are maximalist showing. Once they will sit together, and Pakistan, this is what Pakistan is doing to make them sit on the table, at least sit there and then put forward your demands and then put forward your demand, then definitely the
Major Nadeem, I have still not got an answer of how is it that Shehbaz Sharif in his post last evening says that Lebanon is part of the deal. Complete denial within a few hours coming in from the White House and from the Vice President. Please explain, where is the failure? Has US ditched you?
First of all,
or has Mr. Shehbaz Sharif not understood what Washington DC wanted?
First of all, there is no written agreement between Iran and USA or Israel. There is no written agreement. Right? But
so who's saying there's a written agreement? Did you not? Did the oral instructions were not understandable?
Yes,
what happened?
Yes. Not yet in writing. Let me speak here. They're not yet in writing. It is basically the Pakistan stand. Pakistan definitely want the peace in the whole region. But there are only two countries which are trying to spoil this. Number one is the Israel, your friend, whom the Modi visited and gave the NOC for war, 1 day or 2 days before this war started.
No, that's absolute nonsense.
Another is Israel.
That's absolute nonsense, Major Nadeem. Modi may have visited, but there's no question of India in any way knowing about it. But let me bring in Jeffrey Gunter, because Jeffrey Gunter, they have a problem with Israel. They are calling you an aggressor, the United States, and Trump an aggressor. This is the country that you're going to land in. Trump was actually scared whether Vance's security is going to be safe or not, whether he will be secure or not within Pakistan.
He will be safe. And honestly, this is Times Now. This is one of the most esteemed stations in all of India. And you all look like a bunch of school children right now, squabbling over things that really don't make a difference. And I feel like the school teacher about to discipline each and every one of you. This is about lives. This is about livelihood. This is about expensive gasoline for everyday Indians, everyday Americans. And the way you all are squabbling and turning this into a Pakistan versus India dispute is actually quite embarrassing. And I'm going to put you all in the corner and put a hat on you and put you in detention for 30 minutes because this is shameful. The reality is we need
Ambassador Gunter, it's wonderful that you're taking this high moral ground. But where were you yesterday when Israel, took 250 lives, injured 800, hit civilian areas, or in Gaza when over 50,000 people were killed? Where was this moral high ground?
Israel is a great democracy, just like India. Israel has run the most humanistic and ethically appropriate war in Gaza. And
I don't think any of our Pakistan panelists will agree with you. Shall we ask them if they agree with you?
Terrorists.
No, Major Nadeem, you agree with that? Israel has done a highly ethical war.
Civilians that are dying.
This is the country that you are going to. Let's listen to them.
Hamas and Hezbollah. No doubt about it. No doubt.
This is your conduit to Iran. Let's listen to their views. Do they agree with you?
You saw the beautiful ring that the Iranians threw around their electrical thing. That's called human shields. That's a gross violation of international law. Come on, you guys, wake up. Stop arguing amongst each other and celebrate the fact that we're getting people to the peace table. And India is a peace-loving country. President Trump loves Modi. And your world would be a better place by not having one nuclear country next to you like Pakistan.
Bit rich coming from US, which has started this war. But let me bring in Major General KK Sinha. Major General KK Sinha, before I go across to a Pakistan guest, what would you say to Ambassador Gunter, who says that this is just bickering? End of the day, who started this war? Who's looking for an exit ramp, and who's violated the ceasefire, and who's achieved nothing? The only thing that has been achieved by this is perhaps pushed Iran closer to the nuclear weapon, and you managed to make the Strait of Hormuz, which is free passage, into a strait where you now have to pay $2 million per ship. Major General
Sinha. Good evening, Madhav, and good evening and Jai Hind to all my panelists who are there. Now, you have asked me a very pertinent question, especially, our friend and the ambassador from the United States of America. Now, what he said that, he is dazed that, we are talking in this time between India and Pakistan and we are doing something different or something, which is not supposed to be done when the world is or the global is absolutely in a mess. Now, my answer to this and to him, what he said, with all respect. Ambassador, you are more or less siding towards the Pakistan, saying that Pakistan is, because they have done something. I know America, when we say 3 A's for Pakistan, and I'm going a little bit, I will give you 3 A's: Army, America, and Allah. This time, America and the army of Pakistan, they are on one side trying to do something which is getting an American off-ramp for Donald Trump. The way it has happened on the ground, with all 13 of the bases totally devastated, which you never imagined the Iran can do it. State of Hormuz, one thing. I will leave it here. I will come back because in 70s, Pakistan role was the same. That time also 3 A's were there, and they were doing it with China. That time they wanted to have a good relation, or what they wanted to have something in a lukewarm, and what they did it with the China. That time also Pakistan was there. And what happened in December 71? Just listen. Let me, give me. I'll listen to you. In December 71, your 7th Fleet was there in Bay of Bengal, and the way it was, they couldn't do it, and a nation was created. I leave it there. Now coming back to your question, because if they understand what I am trying to put across, this time when you say the Pakistan is only a messenger, I have got big objection for that. It has been told in Hindi, which I will translate as a broker, which is called dalal, and it is very, very clearly by India, because India position is like that. They are doing only the broking and dalali. When you do dalali, you have got nothing. That's why the draft comes and you do it. The team, Sawad Sharif and your field marshal, they are very, very close, and especially when you see the 3 people who are coming from America: J.D. Vance, Steve Witkoff, and Javed Kushner, son-in-law from, and they have their business already in Pakistan.
Okay.
So you can understand what they were trying to do.
So listen, I want Major Nadeem to answer that. I'm coming to Mr. Khan as well. Major Nadeem, answer that question. At the end of the day, it's dalali. It's broking plain and square, because here you have obviously lured the US establishment or powers that be with cryptocurrency, with all sorts of business deals, and that's their only reason that they're using you as a conduit.
Basically, the word dalal you use in India because it is legal in India, and you collect tax from the dalal, right? And you collect tax from the prostitution as well. Prostitution is an industry, is a legal industry.
So is that what you're doing? Are you admitting that that's what you're doing? You're admitting you're admitting that you are prostituting yourself.
We call it negotiator. So let me speak. We call it negotiator.
Prostitution is negotiation, according to you.
We are hosting, right, in Pakistan.
Wonderful.
In Pakistan, adultery is liable for death penalty, right? And that's why you are using...
Sir, I find it amazing that, a panelist has referred to a certain statement, and you are taking the insult and making it worse.
Use this word.
You've taken dalali and taken it to the level of prostitution, according to you.
This
Wonderful.
Is brought up. This is. You see, he's a major general, and he's talking like a Noda of the Mohalla, right? He's talking bullshit, right? He's using this word, and he fully knows what does it mean. And it is legal in India. And this is what the ambassador is saying. Why are you discussing the irrelevant things? Why don't you focus on the Pakistan army?
And today you are trying to say and take the side of Pakistan.
Well, the point is very simple. The point is very simple. When an insult is hurled at you, you try to answer that back. But in your case, you only exasperated the insult. But let me get in Tushar in the mix. Tushar, the question over here is this. Of course, they will get riled up when they're shown the mirror. But the larger question, of course, is that what exactly are they doing? And are they really in any position to negotiate? What have they negotiated? We still don't know.
Exactly. And he just himself confessed that there is no written agreement. So it's all social media theatrics, and even those they can't get right. He said adultery in Pakistan is punishable by death. Let us remind them that when they were in bed with America during the war with Afghanistan, they were the ones hosting Osama bin Laden on their soil. So they shouldn't teach the world what adultery is. And about prostitution, on which they seem to be an expert, they have been pimping themselves out to the Chinese and Americans. The Americans and the Chinese have been taking turns against Pakistan. And I'm quite surprised by the ambassador's statement. Right now, Donald Trump cannot define the objectives of this war, the scale of this war, and what is the exit strategy of the Americans. If Donald Trump is saying, oh, wonderful, we've got the Hormuz to open again, that was open on February 27 also without the Iranians charging a premium on the every vessel passing to the Hormuz. So what has really Trump achieved? One night he says we have the capacity to wipe out an entire civilization. The next night he needs the assistance from a state like terror state like Pakistan to get a ceasefire. And Pakistan, again, they do not have a written agreement. They do not have free will. They are just pigeons or prostitutes, however you want to define it, passing messages from one stakeholder to another, and even that they cannot get right.
Respond to that, Ambassador Gunta, because the question is, what has this war achieved? Which objective have you managed to get? Neither regime change, nor ending the nuclear program. You've actually made life a lot more difficult for yourself and for everyone else.
What has it achieved? I don't know. Why don't you go ask the Supreme Ayatollah? Oh, wait, he's not here anymore. Or why don't you ask the leaders of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps? Oh, wait, they're not there anymore. Oh, why don't you go ask the Navy? Oh, wait, 160 of them are at the bottom of the ocean. Oh, wait, why don't you go ask the pilots who are in the Air Force? Oh, wait, they're gone. Oh, let's talk about the missile launches, down 95%. Let's talk about the drone launches, down 95%. Let's talk about their manufacturing capability, down significantly. Look it. This is called a war of attrition, guys. I suggest you read Art of the War and you start to brush up on all these things. A war of attrition is a relatively slower process without having a big grand battle, and you gradually degrade the ability. And let me tell you, I don't care who's negotiating this peace. If we can get peace in the region, if we can get all the objectives accomplished. In other words, no nuclear Iran for our esteemed panelists who keep putting his finger in the air. Lighten up. I'll give you some answers. Okay. Number 2, no missile launches. Number 3, eventually open up the Strait of Hormuz. And number 4, eliminate the proxies.
Well, if you had so much of military power, why can't you open up the Hormuz Strait militarily speaking? Let me bring in Major General Sinha. Are these arguments, how do you take these arguments coming in from Ambassador Gunta?
Ambassador, very nice to hear from you that there's something, the art of war you are talking about. The art of war, why your chief, your army chief, he has to resign along with the 2 generals and 60 veterans against this, what you are doing in Iran, in what you are doing in the Middle East. Why the chief of staff has said that, it is very high risk and going to be a very low gain. Why he said that? Tell me why the USS Gerald Ford, the sailors put the, your prime, it is a crown of your maritime domain. That has been put on fire by the sailor, which you are investigating. Just tell me, that is called art of war. That is called, where the things are wrong, the people stand. That is art of war. Art of war is not there that you come and bombard with the air power, which no one has got. The art of war is not that, within 4 hours, you put the civilization to the end and send it to the, Stone Age. And that is the art of war. Don't teach us what is the art of war. 40 years I have got in the military. You are an ambassador. I thought that you will come out with something very, very substantial.
Ambassador Gunta, the point that many are amazed about is that how can a sitting president talk about taking away an entire civilization? One thing to change a regime, it's one thing to talk about a government being toppled or a leader. But when you talk about obliterating a civilization, that's certainly something that's not going to find acceptability anywhere in the world, leave alone Asia.
Definition. If the civilization is a bunch of Islamic fascist terrorists that have run Iran and attacked America for 47 years, I'm all for it. It depends upon your definition. There was no nuclear weapons described in the statement. He's talking about eliminating these terrorists, these Islamofascists that killed 45,000 of the own people. Great Iranians. We're talking about great people. And y'all on the panelists don't even talk about the 45,000 civilians that were taken out, hanged, and murdered. Shameful. Shame on you. Art of the war. Victorious warriors. Victoria warriors win and then go to war. And that is what the greatest president of the United States...
Who are you negotiating with, Ambassador Gunta? Who are you negotiating with?
Everyone in the region a favor.
Ambassador Gunta, who are you negotiating with currently?
Madhav.
I mean, there's negotiations going on the whole time. They've been going on for 3 weeks. Look
with whom?
Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff and J.D. Vance and all of our great team have been negotiating.
In Iran?
Well, I'm not going to say my sources. I'm not going to name it out. But look, these negotiations have been going on back channel for a long time.
Okay.
While everyone on the show is...
They're Islamofascists. Hamid Khan, the ambassador here, believes that Iran is a bunch of Islamofascists. He also believes that Israel is conducting the war very ethically. This is the country that you are taking orders from.
I think
correct.
I think he lives in a cuckoo land. He doesn't know the reality. And if he is supporting any kind of war crime person, I have no words. I will just feel sympathy for him. But I will say only one thing. I fully understand Indian frustration. Because nobody...
This is the... Sir, he's an ambassador of the country that you are negotiating with on behalf of Iran.
Yeah. I mean, he's not the ambassador right now. He's just talking nonsense. Anyway, I'm just saying.
Really?
Oh, really?
I'm just saying,
but he's been an ambassador.
I'm just saying one
he's a
thing,
supporter of Trump.
The Indian frustration is very clear that because nobody is talking or giving any importance to Modi anymore, Modi is gone into gutter in terms of...
So don't give yourself so much importance and try and equate yourself with Modi. I think we know very well how to balance our interests and find out our interests and look out for it. But we'll have to leave it there for the moment. Gentlemen, completely out of time. Major General Sinha, Tushar Gupta, Major Nadeem, Ambassador Gunta and Hamid Khan, thanks so much for joining us this evening.